Hello, in this video we're going to learn how to solve an inequality in one variable or with one variable by either multiplication or division. Just like when we solved an inequality with addition or subtraction, we're going to use the same rules as when we were solving equations, but in this time there's one additional thing you have to remember, which is in the sticky note right here that says when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality. Now, when I was in school, I never really learned why. My teacher always just said, well, you just need to flip the inequality. Okay, well, why? Like, why do you even have to do that? Because the order of the numbers gets reversed. So let me just show you what I mean so that you can kind of understand the why. If you don't fully understand it, that's okay, but just so you have a general idea. Okay, so we know that 2 is less than 3, correct? So if I take each side, remember, because whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. If I multiply both sides by -1, okay, I now end up with -2 is less than -3. Now, is -2 smaller than -3? Remember, the bigger the negative number, the smaller the number is. So my number inequality is reversed because -3 is really smaller than -2. So when I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative number, it reverses the order. It makes my bigger numbers smaller and my smaller numbers bigger because that's what the negative does. That's why we have to flip the inequality. You don't have to remember why, but I just thought you would like to know. So we're going to go right in and practice our solving. And we don't want to forget when we're doing inequalities that we also graph our solutions. So solve and graph. First thing I'm going to do, draw a line right down the middle because whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. And I want to make sure I'm consistent with that. So first thing I have to do is I have to get rid of this 2. Remember, this says 2 times x. How do you undo times or how do you undo multiplication? You divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. These 2's are going to go away, and I'm left with x is less than 7. Now, do I have to worry about flipping an inequality here? Nope, not at all, because I did not divide by a negative number. So I need to fill in my number line and then graph my solution. This time I'm going to count by ones. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm at 7 here, and I have a less than, strictly a less than, so I'm going to have an open circle. Less than means smaller. Smaller is on the left-hand side, so it's going to go this way, and remember I can check with my arrow. Next one. What does that mean, by the way? We haven't talked about that yet. If a number x is less than 7, that just means any number that's smaller than 7 is going to fit in my solution. So I could choose 6 would be smaller than 7. I could choose 5.5. I could choose 5. I could even go further down the number line. I could choose 4 or 0 or any number that's smaller than 7. But remember, 7's not included. Okay, next guy. I'm going to draw my line down my inequality to remember whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. This says n divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 4. So I have to move this 3. So because this is n divided by 3, what undoes division? You got it, multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. These are going to cancel each other out, so I'm left with n is greater than or equal to 12. Now, do I have to worry about flipping my inequality? No, because I did not divide or multiply by a negative number. I'm going to count by 2's here. So I'm going to go 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, my number's going over 12. I have a greater than or equal to, so that means I'm going to have a closed circle here. Greater than or equal to means bigger. All my bigger numbers are to the right-hand side. So I'm going to have a line that looks like this, and you can check with your arrow trick that I'm pointing to the right. Okay, next. This says p divided by 8 is greater than negative 3. To solve, I'm going to put my line down my inequality to make sure whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side to keep it balanced. So I have to get rid of this 8 here. P divided by 8. What is the opposite of dividing? You got it, multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 8. These 8s are going to go away. I get P is greater than negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. Do I need to flip my inequality here? No. Because I did not, because this number right here, 8, because I did not multiply or divide by a negative number, it doesn't matter that this number, negative 3, is negative. It only matters what I multiply or divide by. Because I multiplied both sides by a positive 8, my inequality stays the same. So here is my answer, and I don't want to forget to graph it. So I'm going to count by, I'm going to go by just ones this time. So we're going to go negative 24, negative 23, negative 22, 21, negative 25, negative 26, negative 27. I have P is greater than negative 24. So greater than, I'm going over the 24. I'm going open circle because it's just greater than. And greater than means bigger. Bigger is to the right. So I'm shading to the right. And I can check with my arrow trick that says my arrow is going to the right. Okay, and last but not least, we got one more to practice. Negative 8w is less than or equal to 32. I'm going to draw my line down my inequality. So whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Okay, this says negative 8 times w. I have to get rid of this negative 8. So because this says negative 8 times w, what undoes times or multiplication? Dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. Divide by negative 8. Ooh, here I'm dividing by a negative number. So I have my W, oops, I was going to change my color, my W, because I'm dividing by a negative number, I'm going to flip my sign. And 32 divided by negative 8 is negative 4. So I divided by a negative number. This negative 8 means because I divided by negative 8, I'm flipping my inequality. And by flipping it, it just means I reverse the way that it goes, and I keep it. If it's a equal to underneath, then the equal to stays. It doesn't change, like this part, the equal to won't go away. It just flips the direction. Okay, and then I don't want to forget to graph. Well, I'm just going to count by ones this time. So I'm going to go negative 6, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0. Okay, I'm at negative 4. W is greater than or equal to negative 4. So here's my negative 4. Greater than or equal to means closed dot. And greater than means bigger. And bigger on the number line is to the right. So my arrow is going this way, and I can check with my arrow trick. And that is my final answer. So just remember, when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you always want to flip the inequality. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.